Hello, and welcome to Rain's Cryptids, Myths, and Folklore. I'm your host, Rain. Today, let's talk about the Rougarou. I have seen many different shows that used the Rougarou as their villain or monster. Even the X-Files TV series, although they did pull from the Skinwalker and Wendigo along with the Rougarou into one monster, which shows you how they like to keep us confused about them. So there are a couple of stories for the Rougarou. I will go through them each, but I have my own ideas as well, as truth is in all of the stories, but also exaggerations. So let's figure it out. Most would think the exaggerations would make it more palatable, but I believe it's to actually hide the truth. So it seems to roam around Acadiana and the greater New Orleans area, possibly even wider of a region than we know. It has the werewolf dogman look to it, which is its only relation to the werewolf dogman, which could be why someone could get confused on which it is. They also say it has red eyes, but some werewolf dogmen have been described with red eyes in some sightings. Of course, only a few were. More on that later. There are many versions of the Rougarou around. To begin, the beast hunts and kills anyone who doesn't follow the rules of Lent. They say it was also made to scare children into doing as they were told, or even just to get the children not to go into the swamps. Next, we have they, of course I mean the human, is under a spell for 101 days. During that time, he turns unknowing victims into a Rougarou by drawing blood, with a few other additives here or there. In this one, I find some possible info, but we will get to that soon. So now, we have them in human form during the day, only transforming at night, which in this version, I have heard of sighting stories with this very way, and more than one. Now, is it related to the 101-day curse? Not sure. I have heard that it has to kill until it can pass the curse on to another before it can be released from its curse. In this one, they usually die from what I have read. Well, that is usually because the one they passed it to kills them right afterwards, unaware they now have the curse. Also in this one, it is related to the 101-day curse, and thought to be done by a voodoo priest or priestess. Nowadays, it's used as a reason to have festivals and many other things. I have heard of sightings even in this day and age, though. Some of the silliness is just ways to make people believe it's just a story, but I'm sorry, the Rougarou is true. The origins do come from the 16th century and is French, called the Loup-garou. Even with the stories, they say it was hysteria back then, so basically everyone blamed it on the Loup-garou, which in French means werewolf. While in some areas it could have been a werewolf, or the Rougarou, others just criminals hiding their crimes to get away with it. Thinking all were fake is simple thinking, and thinking all were werewolves or Rougarou is also simple thinking. But actually think this through, you will see the truth is it was the werewolf, probably a rogue. They normally wouldn't come into villages/towns, but out in the wild for the most part, since they usually only attack when they come across someone, maybe willing in very small villages. Some could be the cursed Rougarou, especially if it was coming into the villages/towns in a rage, especially since their aggression was to hunt humans. And then you have your village town criminal who is getting busted, so let's blame it on the monster. So here are my thoughts. The Rougarou is real, no doubt. It is done by a curse, by a dark witch. Yes, there is a difference between dark and light witches, as I will have a video on magic coming out soon. It could be even a witch's rage for being betrayed. Betraying a witch does incur her wrath, especially if she is temperamental. Even more so, it was a French witch. This comes from the Rougarou relation. Now, she could have passed her spell down all the way to the French witch that descended on Louisiana. She could have even shared it with the voodoo priestess. But the spell is very much still alive. Now, how it actually works? Well, gotta find that witch. If it only lasts 101 days, well, again, I haven't found any proof on it. Maybe it's a full moon to full moon, or 2 full moons, something of the sort. Of course, if the witch is using it as a punishment, I don't see her using it for a short burst of time, unless she's doing it to shame the one she is cursing. Raging on innocent people could cause some guilt. But what I can tell is it does have to be passed on to get rid of it. By possible biting, which could be where we got the stories of being bitten by a werewolf. You become one. I haven't heard of sighting stories that can tell me what happens if it is a 101-day curse and you run out of time. If it doesn't have 101 days, what happens if you never pass it on? Do you stay in this form forever? If so, do you become rogue since you haven't got a pack to turn to? These are unanswered questions at the moment. Sightings, I have heard, usually end in death. Another way to tell the difference between a werewolf and Rougarou is a Rougarou has red eyes, which could be the tall tale sign of the curse. The whole blood thing, no. I think that might be something else. Maybe used to cause the passing on to the next, like biting you or just another extra to help scare people. Maybe they used the Rougarou to get away with the collecting of blood, as evil seems to like to use human blood for many things. I think why it kills so badly is that along with the curse, it causes them to be enraged to an extreme level while in this form, like rabies. Now, whether the person knows it's changing, well, I think it depends on the person. Some do, and some don't. I have heard of sightings of both. So I think if you're up to speed on things that go bump in the night, including magic, then yeah, you might realize you are changing. But if you are a non-believer, then most likely, no, you wouldn't. I wonder if while in the Rougarou form, if you are with your own mind, or if you just blank out like an alcohol blackout. Maybe they just think it's a bad dream while they are in the Rougarou form. They say you are very fatigued more each time from changing every night. It would be exhausting going on a rampage every night. And if your mind goes into a dream state awareness while being a Rougarou, you are going to wake in the morning fatigued. Could the rage actually be caused by the adding the animal, which in this case a wolf, to a human mind, cause the rabid mindset? Maybe not. Not having a full connection to the human side makes it more insane from still feeling the other, but not connected to it. Or is it just the way the witch cursed you, not fully understanding the way werewolf dogman minds work? There is another thought. Because you are so fatigued after each night, could it be a way of killing the human side slowly to be a raging beast forever? Now that would be an evil curse to bestow on someone. Now you really have to wonder how many sightings have been actual Rougarou or actually werewolf dogman instead. I do know from sighting stories that there are several werewolf dogmans that were described with red eyes all throughout the United States, not including ones I know that are Rougarou. Well, unless a very dark witch or voodoo priestess has been really pissed off and was cursing people left and right, it would make more sense that people are seeing both. But you still don't want to be on her bad side, though. Now, with this information, I don't believe the Rougarou is only in the swamps of Louisiana, especially since some werewolf dogman sightings have had red eyes. Could other witches have this cursed spell? I believe so. But there is another possibility as well, that the voodoo priestess / witch could have given the curse to a tourist, and unknowing the tourist went home, and the werewolf got the blame. But it could explain some of the over-aggressive roads that I have heard that are near towns. Of course, the red eyes are just a possibility. This is just going by sightings, as every for sure Rougarou had red eyes. I would believe there would be a difference between them. Then again, the witch is cursing you to be a rabid werewolf dogman at night, as possibly causing your human side to die slowly. The only difference is you are usually unaware and completely rabid. But do you realize what's happening right at the end? Or do you permanently stay in your dream state? Plus no pack mentality as you go back to being a regular human in the day, as per most being unaware to what's happening, until you run out of time. So remember to not betray any witches or voodoo priestess in the future, so you won't have to go rampaging around. And that's what I have on the Rougarou. Today we won't have a folklore or myth. Still working some kinks out. Thank you. I hope you will join me on my next video. So until then, this is Rain, signing off.